guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Magista Opus in the brand new black, blue Lagoon, and Volt Yellow colorway. Now inside the box, they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is black in color with Volt Yellow strings, features a white Nike swoosh on one side, and your white Nike football branding on the other. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the Nike Magista Opus, which in my opinion is the most underrated high-end shoe that Nike currently has on the market. Obviously, it's part of the Magista line, just below the Obra, with a retail price of $200 US versus $275 that Nike charges for the Flyknit Obra. And again, it really does have a lot to offer as far as performance is concerned, which is part of what we're going to be talking about in today's video. We're going to take a closer look at the colorway, talk tech specs, and of course see how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more, please stick around, and if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, check out the review page on my website. It'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page you will find my detailed full written review, as well as buy it now links with the best prices online, including exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you can actually pick these up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk about the colorway. Now, if you've seen these things for sale online, you've probably seen a different variation of this particular shoe, with black laces, a black tongue, as well as a black heel liner and insole. The difference between those shoes that you've seen online and the shoe that I have right here is that the online ones are pictures of pre-production sample variations of this particular colorway, whereas what I have right here and what I'm showing you guys is the actual retail production variation of the shoe. So if you do order a pair, regardless of which variation is being shown in the pictures, this is the version that you'll receive, with the Volt Yellow laces, the Volt Yellow tongue, and the Volt Yellow heel liner, which in my opinion just gives the shoe a little bit of extra pop that I was not expecting. When I knew that I was going to get these in, I was expecting the tongue, laces, and liner to be all black, which is not bad looking, but a little bit more boring than what the final product actually ended up being. So again, regardless of which picture is displayed of this particular colorway on whatever website you're ordering it from, should you actually order a pair, this is what they'll look like when they arrive. So as far as this colorway goes, obviously this is in line with the Magistas that I did a review of not too long ago. Features a black upper, you have the perforations in the upper with the performance mesh underlay where you have the blue Lagoon on the lateral side, fades in the forefoot to Volt Yellow, and then the medial side, as you guys can see, is all Volt Yellow as well. You're going to find Volt in the laces, the tongue, as well as the heel liner. White Nike swooshes on both the lateral and medial side, as well as your white Magista branding going across the back of the heel. The heel counter is black in color, and the majority of the sole plate is also black with some Volt accents, and the blue Lagoon accents in the four studs here on the medial side of the forefoot. So all in all, really, really good looking colorway in my opinion, but leave your opinions on it down below in the comment section. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As I've mentioned plenty of times over the last couple of months, the Nike Tiempo Legend 5 is my favorite shoe at the moment. But if I had to pick my second favorite Nike model, I think it would be the Nike Magista Opus. I'm just a really, really big fan of this shoe, and it really hasn't gotten the attention that it deserves in terms of the performance qualities that it has to offer. The Obra has seen the majority of the attention, but this really is a fantastic shoe that has a lot going for it. Now, as far as tech specs and performance go, if you guys want as many details as possible, check out the full written review on my website. It'll be the very first link down below in the description. That written review goes over absolutely everything you could possibly want to know about this shoe if you really want as much info as possible. But for the sake of the videos, we'll go over the necessities in terms of what you should know if you're considering the Opus as your next shoe. Now, as far as the upper is concerned, this is really the last standing Kangalite model from Nike. You're going to find a Kangalite upper that's different from what we've seen in the past in that it has cutouts across the entire upper. Obviously, the pattern on the surface does appear to be similar to what you're going to find on the Magista Obra, but obviously it's not made from Flyknit. So you have a top layer of what they call Kangolite. It's a synthetic material from Nike that's designed to mimic the natural feel of kangaroo leather. Does it do that? Not necessarily in this form factor. It's soft, it's flexible, it's comfortable, and it does have a slightly padded sensation about it, which does give it a slightly leather-like quality. But what's unique about this versus what we used to see from the CTR 360 Maestri shoes, which the Magista obviously replaced, is that you have these cutouts with a base layer of what they call performance mesh. That's what gives it this blue lagoon and volt yellow coloring on the underside. Now there's no covering here. It's pretty much just an exposed lining material to the upper that, like I said, makes it feel very thin, very flexible, and just extremely natural on your foot. This is a shoe that feels great and is very comfortable from right out of the box, and it is comparable to something like the CTR 360 Maestri 3, just a little bit less bulky and more streamlined overall. The surface of the upper, as you guys can see, there's kind of two different finishes. Around the bottom lip here, kind of has a shiny finish, and then the majority of the top layer here where you actually find the perforations, it's more of a matte finish. It's a very slightly gritty sensation to the touch, and you do get a little bit of additional grip on the ball as opposed to it being completely slick, kind of like a natural leather upper would be. So it's a little bit of extra grip without any extra bulk or just material on the upper whatsoever. It's a unique sensation on the ball that really only the Opus provides at this point in time. It is also finished off with ACC all conditions control, acting as your wet control element for wet weather playing conditions. This shoe actually provides a really good touch on the ball in wet weather based on my experience. Speaking of playing in these things in wet weather, obviously the liner is left completely exposed. It's pretty much just a thin layer of mesh, and I know a lot of people are concerned about water seeping through the upper. That is something that can potentially happen if you stand in a puddle, but if it's just raining, not too heavy of course, your feet will stay relatively dry in this shoe, believe it or not. But if it's raining really heavily, no shoe is waterproof, and your feet are going to get wet just like they would be in 90% of the shoes out there. You do have a lacing system that again kind of carries over from what we see from the Obra as well as the past CTR 360 line, running through the middle at the top and then kind of going to the medial side here closer to the bottom. You do have a pretty standard cut here at the back of the shoe, an internal heel liner that has some perforated leather at the back and some really nice padding. Step-in comfort is not an issue with this shoe whatsoever. The insole is fully removable. Pretty much the same insole you're going to find on the Magista Obra. Mesh liner on top, perforations throughout, and it's just a single layer of this fairly dense yellow foam material. Definitely does do a good job as far as step-in comfort is concerned. And then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern combo here. The sole plate does feature an external plastic heel counter, similar to what you're going to find on the Magista Obra. The difference here is that the sole plate material is a lot more flexible and a little bit thinner than the Obra. So it's more of a TPU construction as opposed to like a compressed nylon, which is what we see on the Obra. I personally prefer the more flexible feel of the Opus versus the Obra, but everything else is pretty much the same. It's comfortable from right out of the box, no issues with stud pressure, and of course you get the new Magista stud pattern, which is loosely based off of what you're going to find from the Tiempos, minus the bladed studs in the heel. All the studs, as you guys can see, are conical in shape. They have a fairly good length to them and a fairly narrow profile, so they penetrate the ground quite easily. So you get plenty of grip when pushing off in pretty much any direction, and because they are rounded in shape when you are planted, you have that ability to twist and turn and maneuver pretty well overall. So really no major complaints here. Certainly not the most aggressive traction pattern, but it does get the job done, and it's one of my personal favorite ones to use. And at the end of the day, a lot of this is about preference when it comes to stud patterns and what is the best of the best. But that's pretty much it as far as tech specs and what you should know regarding the Magista Opus and its overall performance. Again, highly underrated shoe, but a shoe that I can strongly recommend. If you miss the CTR 360 line, you're not a huge fan of the Obra, the Magista Opus is the shoe that you should be considering. As far as weight is concerned, I don't think many people realize how lightweight the Magista Opus actually is. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. We're going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at a very lightweight 6.7 ounces. Change the units to grams, that's 190 grams, making this the second lightest model that Nike currently has on offer from their high-end shoes. The only shoe that's lighter is the Vapor 10, but the Opus is actually more lightweight than the Superfly 4, the Magista Obra, as well as the Hypervenom Phantom. And if you want to compare it to other brands, it's even lighter than the 2015 F50 Adizero in the synthetic upper variation. So if the type of feel and fit that this shoe has to offer is something that's appealing to you, also keep in mind that they are deceivingly lightweight despite how they may look. So again, a major selling point if you were considering a pair of Magista Opuses. Alright, so here is a look at the Magista Opus on feet. On my left foot I have the stock laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot I have a pair of black reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, check out the website sr4ulaces.com. It'll be linked down below in the description of this video, so go ahead and check it out if you're interested. In terms of how the Opus fits and feels on feet, they're very, very comfortable shoes. Obviously, because it's a completely different material and pretty much a completely different design as far as the upper is concerned when compared to the Magista Obra, it doesn't feel the same at all. It definitely has more of a standard soccer shoe construction, and as far as the upper goes, it's Kangolite, which is proven to be a really, really good high-end synthetic, but because of its unique kind of cutout design, it's very thin and very, very flexible from right out of the box. It will soften up and become even more flexible after some break-in time and even stretch a little bit for you, so if they are a little bit snug from right out of the box, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But overall, these things are pretty much ready to go right from the get-go and just feel really, really good. No issues with comfort whatsoever. As far as width is concerned, it's going to be suitable for most feet people. It's a little bit snug in the toe box area, but the rest of the shoe does have a pretty decent width to it. And again, it will stretch after some wear time. So as long as you don't have extremely wide feet, these things should fit you just fine. And as far as sizing is concerned, the Magista line in general runs about a half size small. So instead of going for my normal size 9 US, I bumped it up to a 9.5, half a size larger than I would normally go. And the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going half a size up for the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Nike Magista Opus. An absolutely fantastic shoe, as I talked about throughout this entire video. One of my personal favorites that Nike currently has to offer, and again, just a very underrated shoe overall. If you missed the CTR 360 series and you want something that is similar, the Magista Opus is the shoe for you. Again, if you guys want more detailed information on the overall fit, feel, and performance, check out the full written review on my website. It'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. That full written review covers all kinds of details. You'll also find high quality images of this shoe that I took myself on that particular page. So it'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with the best prices online, including exclusive SR4U coupon codes that allow you to pick these up below their normal retail price. If you guys have any questions at all regarding the Nike Magista Opus or questions in general, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you have any suggestions as well, leave those down below in the comments, and I take a look at everything. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.